Not that it's a deficit. Inclusive to something that you just said, which again, I want to tap into for this episode. Again, you said something about the rejection sensitivity. Yeah. It's important to tap on this. For those of you who are unaware, what rejection sensitivity dysphoria is, if you are somebody as a child who went through multiple microcorrections, multiple criticisms, the slightest nuanced external hit of a eye movement, rejection, criticism, correction, body language, tonality can feel like an absolute dagger to the heart that is taken out and then stuck inside of you again. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria is a traumatic response to growing up, feeling unseen, feeling unheard, feeling rejected, feeling isolated, feeling left out, feeling like you don't fit in, being corrected, being criticized too much. And as you get older, it manifests into a physical debilitation of pain.
Can I add something really quickly?
Of course.
Also, not only could it become a conditioned response to rejection, but also within our brain chemistry for people with ADHD, your prefrontal cortex is underactive. So with your planning and your logical reasoning, while your amygdala, which is your emotional response system, is hyperactive. So this is where you see a lot of people with ADHD will react more based off that emotional response as opposed to that logical reasoning. So that impulsivity of feelings, that RSD, that perceived notion of rejection is going to be stronger also because of those systems that are under or overactive.
And it's also a perceived notion of danger because when you go through that amygdala hijack, what's happening is that you go into that fight, flight, or freeze when your amygdala gets hijacked and your prefrontal cortex literally shuts off.
Right. And you don't know if you don't feel safe. So it's a physiological response. Like we've all had it. Our ancestors had this, right? And there's something else I want to note really quickly where I found very interesting. I was listening to something and they were saying that, impulsivity would have been a survival trait in a different world context, right? So back in the day when we were nomads and we had to search for food or we had to, go fight to find land, impulsivity was a strength. You needed to be able to not think too fast and not kind of dwell on, different kind of thoughts. So impulsivity was such a strength in other, contexts. However, now when we have everything at the palm of our hands, impulsivity now can be deemed as more of, a challenge sort of behavior due to that. But I just wanted to add that in really quickly because I found that interesting.
And that's super important because, again, different times, different eras,
exactly,
different reasonings why physiological responses would serve time, place.
Yep.